Content warning. This video is about a sensitive topic. We've removed any graphic content to comply with YouTube's guidelines. We aim to provide informative, factual journalism on a tragic event in the public interest that does not dismiss its seriousness. All clips are used under the doctrine of fair use for news reporting and analysis. Some points made in this video are opinions and theories. I am not responsible for third-party information.
Trapmore gang, we're getting more and more deep into the Epstein files, and people are finding more stuff. People are also doing really well indexing a lot of the stuff that is actually in there. And one of the most dark and just disgusting, depraved things that's come out of these files is a whole bunch of images, video clips, very cursed media that perhaps would have been lost forever, perhaps would have just stayed in Jeffrey Epstein's email inbox, in his iCloud, his Google Drive, whatever you want to call it. Unfortunately, because of the way that he checked out, okay, and thank God he did end up getting put in a spliff one way or another, because of the way he checked out and because of how dark his crimes were, we're now getting absolutely reams of images, videos, awful content that really should have never seen the light of day. But thanks to the Jeffrey Epstein, the Epstein Files Transparency Act, they're calling it, we're actually at liberty to see a lot of these very, very dark things that have been circulating. And so in this video, I just want to break down to you some of the most disturbing photos and videos that have surfaced from these files, just to give you an understanding of how deep this guy's dark, depraved life actually was. He was taking videos very casually, pictures. You know, I've shown you before that there was examples where it looked like he was actually being offered human beings, girls, women for sale in his email inbox. There's videos where he appears to be getting handsy with young women. There's videos with Anna. There's a lot of stuff, okay? And I'm not going to be able to cover all of it in this video, but if you thought this was a good video, let me know and I will dig even deeper into this. But basically, there's a lot of dark stuff. So I just want to show you a couple of really grim things that will just give you an idea of this twisted life that this guy was living, and some of the things that he was actually seeing, you know, from his desk, in his house, on his island, and things that he was documenting for himself. He probably didn't realize, or maybe he did, that maybe one day these images could have been played in a courtroom in the hands of prosecutors. He probably never could have guessed that they would have gotten absolutely blasted all over the internet in the way that they have. But hey, them's are the breaks, all right? And now we've got them. I'm going to show you some of the craziest, wildest pictures and videos from the Epstein files. So I'm going to be careful. This is already censored, all right? This is already censored. But look, this is a video that they're going around, right? This is one of the early things that came out. This was 13 days ago. It says, a girl in a sailor costume. And there's a lot of these kind of videos where it appears that Epstein is kind of showing off. You know, we don't know. I mean, I would say pretty much anyone associated with him that's female is a victim at this point. Now, we don't know exactly what the scenario was that he had this going on in his crib. I don't know exactly what property this is, but they had some demonic stuff going on. Okay, so if you look at this, you'll see it's this girl in a sailor costume, and the way she's behaving is just very dark. So you heard a bell being rung, right? And it makes you think, was there some creepy type thing going on where he was ringing a bell and things were happening? Well, that's apparently the case, okay? Now, interestingly enough, okay, it says this video was posted by the DOJ, but then they deleted the video within a span of 10 hours after releasing it. So save it and share it to raise awareness, specifically before it's too late. And, you know, before anyone says, it's wrong to look at these things, I think we're preserving these things. They, whether it's the powers that be, the people in Jeffrey Epstein's circle that wanted to protect him, or Epstein himself, they didn't want us to see these pictures. They didn't want to know what was going on behind that, okay? It says the top of page 3 mentions there was a girl that Maxwell had put on a schoolgirl outfit to serve Epstein tea. The documents also mention her meeting Trump briefly. This could be the same girl or a repeated thing that they did, okay? It's crazy. It says, but what the F isn't anyone talking about what the woman walking in is carrying? Is that a harness or something? It says, are her clothes wet? It seems like her shoulders are soaked, and I've not read all the files posted, but I remembered Kendall saying that she would be soaked and freezing. That Kendall girl speaks so much of what is showing up. Sigh, these posts don't seem necessary to me, but we do need names and accountability for those harmed, traumatized, and murdered. It says the costume itself is transparent. It's saying, no, it's not. The costume is dry. They're saying that's not the same costume. So people are arguing about it. And now look, this is what I was about to get to. It says, these are the same bells that say kiss or which are visible in some of the photos uploaded by the DOJ. And people are saying, I haven't seen these bells. Do you have a link to them? Well, I have a link to them. And this is going to make you realize just how twisted this piece of scum was. Okay, these are going around. All right, the ring for sex bell also appears with Randy and Diana Wright. The ring for sex bell shown in the videos and discussed previously were also gifted to Randy and Diana Wright. The ring for a kiss, ring for is twisted. All right. There was basically an email chain in 2016. Randy Wright is involved in an email chain where he shares a Flickr album, page 3 of the PDF, in which the ring for sex bells and a nurse costume are showcased. The role of Randy and Diana Wright is still unclear to me, but they shared a shootload of images, and here they are on Flickr. Okay, it says they received this reply. So happy you love the bells and uniform and all get well soon gifts, sure to help. Keep up the good work and get better quick. Miss y'all, and FYI, M's in on the uniform as well. I found it and sent her the link and she agreed and seeded it. Love. It says, then I assume Diana Wright based on the email footer answers. So thank you both for the really fun nurse suit. It has been a big hit. Love. Now, according to another file, at least Leslie Groff was physically meeting with the Wrights. I always thought that Leslie was not involved with Epstein's crime activities, but in one email, they also call her Les. And in another, Randy Wright tells Leslie Groff that Marty Martinez says hi, who is apparently a school friend of hers. Another file, the email chain includes one censored person who I assume is Epstein's victim, and then Randy Wright, Diana Wright, and Groff, and Ike Groff. Says their domains, Right Solution and KingTut.us, seem to be defunct since a long time ago, and I couldn't find usable archive copies. It says, edit, Randy Wright seems to have a history with hot air balloons. It says, edit, Leslie is Randy's daughter. The text next to the Flickr image of the bell says it clearly, recovering at home with the help of Diana in her new nurse's outfit, a gift to Randy from daughter Leslie. He also sent the bells to summon the nurse. It's crazy. It says, this dude being in my hometown living 5 minutes away from me is crazy, crazy. Right, saying Diana Wright is very busty. Does she have a history in adult entertainment business? When I first noticed her, I thought it was Stormy Daniels. Right? It's crazy. Saying it's a pretty common novelty item, but I think the context of it is what's really dark. Now, I'm not going to dig into any of those flickers. I could dig into those in another video, but I want to just show you specific things from the files that really point to Jeffrey Epstein's behavior and what he had going on in his personal life specifically. So the next thing that I'm going to show you, okay, is very dark, and this has been going around quite some time. Now, some victims actually came out and suggested that dogs were used as part of these abuse schedules. Like, literally, people are saying that dogs were used in all sorts of twisted and sadistic things, and there are images of dogs in the files, okay? There's images and there's clips. There's multiple recordings of dogs random objects and just a lot of strange thing going on with dogs, and it's just so unfortunate. Nobody deserves to be. But the fact that this guy was so twisted, you know, it sounds like even animals were getting dragged into it is just despicable.
Say that.
Well, look, I don't want to get no copyright issues, yeah, but like you're gonna see what's going on. The fact that he's got videos with, you can see there's a dog in there. It's quite small, right? But he's looking through the crack of a doorway at a dog. You know, maybe this isn't nefarious, but at the same time, you're hearing things in the reports that dogs were, you know, were used as part of twisted things that were going on. Maybe with, do you know what I'm saying? So the fact that he's got dogs messing around doing stuff is pretty twisted, okay? I don't even want to. I'm just going to do my best. I'm going to show you what's going on, all right? You can make your own minds up, okay? And let's just try not to have nightmares about this. Okay, this one is weird as hell, all right? Now, for the record, I just want to make this very clear, especially for YouTube's guidelines. What you are seeing here is a joke. There's not a sexual act taking place here, all right? This is an innuendo. This is a trigger warning. This isn't what it appears to be. What it appears to be in this video is a joke. It's a punchline, and what you're about to see coming afterwards is that it is not as it appears to see. So this video isn't what you think it is, okay? You're about to see everything. This isn't what you think it is. It's not anything messed up. As you can see, it's a joke. It's a hilarious joke. But what sort of creepy stuff were these guys getting up to on these islands and in these properties and in these mansions? It's just, that's what's funny to these guys. Like, I get the punchline, but it's just like, these files have just got some of the most twisted stuff. So next up in the lineup of some of the most disturbing videos from the Epstein files, okay, this one I've seen a couple of times. This one is quite upsetting. In this clip, Epstein appears to be showing, and she's completely blanked out, so we can't actually see her. We can't see details. We can't see age, anything like that. But what we see in this very disturbing clip is Epstein basically presenting what looks like we could probably assume is a young girl to the camera. and he just he appears to be touching them in an extremely inappropriate manner, and it's just very uncomfortable. Now, this really reeks of some kind of video where it's like, he's sending it to someone like to show off this girl. I don't know if she's for sale or if she's invited to the freak off or if he's basically just showing off or if he's recording this for himself. But this honestly feels like he's. Look, I don't mean any disrespect, but this video, it feels like he's like presenting goods for sale to the camera. This is looking like some telesales stuff going on in this. Actually, so I don't think we have sound on this one either. But he's showing, and I don't know what kind of room he's in here. It looks a bit like a classroom to me, if I'm completely honest. But it could be, an office, a bedroom. But for some reason, I don't know why. For me, this made me think like university. Office, back office, classroom. It looks like there's a table with a couple of chairs behind them. But he's basically sitting off screen to the side of her. Whatever he's doing, she doesn't seem to fully like. He's kind of showing her off. He's leaning in. He's touching her. At one point, she kind of pushes him away. Now, look, he is a creep. I don't know if he was trying. If this is something where this is someone he's actually seeing. He's trying to be playful. He's trying to joke around, or if he genuinely is, trying to hurt them, trying to upset them, trying to push them in positions that they don't actually want to be in. You could say, oh, he's tickling her and they're having a good time. Or you could say this is actually really nefarious stuff. We don't know. We don't know the full context of it at this point. But it is another very creepy and disturbing video from the files that just beggars belief. Okay. Now, there's some religious stuff in here. Okay, there's a creepy clip of what you could describe as some sort of like religious ceremony or maybe a Buddhist ceremony. So let's take a look at this one and see what sort of weird ceremonial they had going on. Creepy, super creepy. It's the kind of thing that I feel like, yeah, maybe like, maybe he was just at a run-of-the-mill, some kind of religious ceremony, or maybe this is, the types of things that were going on the island, the weird little rituals and ceremonies that we're hearing about. So this next clip, another creepy clip from the files, is what appears to be some kind of statue or artwork. Apparently this is from his Palm Beach residence, and obviously there's a bunch of kind of very disturbing artworks and creations and artifacts from his various properties. There's artworks of him and paintings of celebrities and things I've seen. But essentially, this is sort of more of the stuff that was tucked away at his properties. And it's kind of, it looks like a sort of creepy 3D statue image of a blonde girl. Now, I wouldn't say this is necessarily giving vibes, but it's not an older woman. It's definitely kind of like a sort of, I guess it looks like a kind of 3D artwork, that kind of a cube or a bust. But, it sort of follows you around the room. It sort of follows the camera around the room. It is quite spooky. I feel like maybe it's curved. And it's sort of when the camera moves around it, it sort of presents as a different angle. But that's super creepy. Now, what I'm about to show you next, and this is a trigger warning. Now, there isn't necessarily anything wrong with the following images I'm about to show you, as far as there is nothing. How can I put this gently? There's nothing that I'm about to show you in this series of pictures that is illegal or wrong or depicts a crime happening. But what it does show you is Jeffrey Epstein amongst children. And essentially, the pictures are disturbing when you know the context of what this guy was getting up to. When you know that the history and the backstory and what he ended up being accused of, these images are disturbing, okay? And there's a trigger warning here. It says, disturbing images circulating from the Epstein files. And this is on Newsom Massacre. Let's check Newsom Massacre out going forward. This looks really interesting. This is warning. These images are sickening, but I want you all to know what... you know what I'm saying? The big guy at the top, man. I don't want to say nothing too bad, okay? I don't want to say nothing too bad. Like, I'm trying to just skate. You know what I'm saying? But hey, this is what the tweet says. Okay, they're saying that it's the big man's best friend. All right, I don't know if we could say that's true, but that's a story for another day. I'm scared. I'm scared. Please bear with me. Anyway, all right. Jeffrey Epstein was doing. Says these are some of the worst images of Epstein and associates with little girls. All right, Epstein with a young'un. Note the device on left wrist. Now that just looks like a watch to me, but maybe I could be wrong. But it's sickening, right? No way. No way. They're saying it's trackers. So they're saying this is Epstein with a kid. Look at the device on the left wrist. Prince Andrew, a passed out. Also note the device on her left wrist. This is likely a tracker. Wow. Had no idea. That's crazy. Topless Jeffrey Epstein with a young'un next to him. And some feet over there, but that is not savory, right? Epstein with child on lap and a towel over her legs. Now, I'm pretty sure these pictures were from like a visit. A family went to the island or wherever he was at and met with him. This isn't meant to be like an inappropriate image, but the fact this has been included in the files, the fact anyone would bring their kids around this man is absurd and despicable. It's him with a kid in a pool. You know, this is giving like, oh, you know, family, oh, you know, Uncle Jeff with the family vibes. But we know what Uncle Jeff was doing now, and it's cool, right? And it's a child posing for the camera in the files. I don't even want to scroll down, but you get the gist, right? Epstein getting a massage from a girl, possibly a young'un, not, likely not. They're saying Epstein at a table with a huge photo of a young'un on the wall. All right, let's be careful, okay? Shout out to the commenters. I'm glad he's dead. Hopefully the other piece of is dead soon. Okay. I'm glad Epstein's dead too. It's a win. We're smoking Jeff Pack. Okay. It is what it is. Oh no. Oh no. Upvoted this post for visibility, but geez, did that feel icky? It is icky. It's wrong. Now, interestingly enough, okay, Jeffrey Epstein, fortunately, okay, before he was burning in hell, as he currently is, thank God, smoking that Jeffrey Epstein's part of the pack, right? That is Jeffrey Epstein. Before he was put into a pack, into a spliff, he was apparently, before he was burning in my spliff and burning in hell, he was apparently burning on his pee-pee. Yes, Jeffrey Epstein apparently had a bunch of nasty venereal diseases, okay? Now, look, no disrespect, all right? No, you know, no, I'm not trying to put down anybody out there who's been burned, you know what I'm saying? Hey, accidents happen, I guess, right? But they're basically saying in these medical records, okay, Epstein apparently suffered from drug-resistant gonorrhea and other conditions, right? This is a lot. Hereditary angioedema plus gonorrhea, GC, and add your inputs. I don't know much about this stuff, but that sounds bad. The spinal stenosis, 8mm, pseudoclaudication upon walking a quarter mile. Need to bend over to relieve it. Perry took flex extension static x-rays results tomorrow. I have a possible sleep apnea, sinus polyps, allergic to cats, trees, grass, rust, and skin test. Hypertriglycerides 500 for 15 years, double negative gene, cholesterol 190, blockage less than 50%, angioedema twice in 2 years, once a month ago. Took Medrol pack to reduce swelling. Now he's in a pack. Back problems as an added benefit went away. Never any pain, only paresthesia since 5 years. Never felt better than with Medrol, but massive brain fog after 1 day off. I do not take drugs. No statins. Aspiring CoQ10. Perry suggested joint supplements, strange rash on belly, derm took punch biopsis, results tomorrow. Parasite showed whipworm and histolytesia, took Tinadex and Albenza. It's just, these all just sound like made-up words, but some medical person can break this down. Some blood in urine, history of bladder polyps, father urine cultures negative. Semen showed some GC. So I took 1 gram ceftriaxone and 2 grams azithromycin. Urine stream diminished, full CAT scan, all negative, prostate, liver. Testosterone levels very low. You've got a low test, right? Needs to get, well, he's in a pack now, but he should have got test maxing. Anyway, 125, same for 10 years, never smoked or drink, no drugs. Sherlock, how can we work? The feeling of superiority when you're falling apart needs to be studied. Not like we've ever seen something like that before. Oh, God. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. Look, I'm going to show you a few more disturbing clips from the files, and then I'm going to wrap it up, all right? But that was wild. He was a mess. He was a mess. No wonder he checked out, right? No wonder. So speaking of potential transmittable diseases, let's say, okay, this specific video has been floating around in the Epstein files. It's very disturbing. It's apparently sent by Epstein to his own doctor, showing symptoms of his various laundry list of diseases affecting his face. Now, I don't know what it is. I don't know if we're talking the herp, if we're talking something different, or if he got punched in the face by one of his victims that was feeling tough, but his face is swollen as hell. And it's good to see, okay? Not quite as satisfying as seeing him dead on a gurney, but Jeffrey Epstein with a swollen punching bag of a face, you got to love it. And this is in the files, and this was a quite hilarious, really, to think about. Like, what a weirdo, bro. Like, if the wrong people got hold of him in the cell and just wanted to violate him, this is the face that they would have made him pull. You can just screenshot that, okay? Like, look, some of the dominant men in the MCC probably had him looking like that a couple times before he checked out. Okay, so there's small things, there's small victories to be had. Okay, now there would also be evidence of Epstein's extensive surveillance system. Now, what's interesting, okay, is we've heard, there's reports that he might have sort of a little bit been recording all these people secretly freaking off in his property, but there's nothing to worry about. Nothing to see here. Well, actually, it does sound like there were some secret surveillance footage that was found, including this footage, which many believe was secret surveillance footage taken in Epstein's own private office. So check this out, right? It's looking like some surveillance footage. It's pretty low quality. It's pretty low res, all right? I'm not quite sure what's going on, who's going past. I mean, at least it was recording, unlike the prison cell footage when he checked out. But it does make you wonder. I bet he probably had hidden cameras in all of his properties going on for decades. He's been doing all this freaky shit since the 80s. And, it's disturbing. And it makes you wonder, were there more secret surveillance footages like this that never saw the light of the day, that maybe got accidentally deleted, just like the prison death footage just got accidentally deleted? What a coinky dink. Now, there was some other freaky shit in here that was a little bit concerning, okay? This is a heavily redacted video, all right? So you're not going to see anything bad. You're not going to see anything against YouTube guidelines. But what this one appeared to show is it looked like somebody was, freaking off maybe. And it seemed like maybe a baseball bat was involved. This one's a little bit bizarre, okay? Let's check this out. It's almost like maybe it's a sort of spanking kind of situation with a baseball bat, like an aluminum bat. It doesn't sound like they're being hit too hard, but like, are they freaking out? What the hell? Sounds like they're kind of laughing. Or this could be some kind of like impact massage, maybe. That little whimper at the end. I hope it's Jeff getting slapped with a bat, to be honest. I actually really hope that it's him. So this next video, I'm only going to show you a couple more before I wrap it up, because I don't want you to have too many nightmares, okay? But this is another bizarre clip, and this one, it shows a man signing a blow-up doll. And again, these are just the most disturbing and haunting clips that at least I was able to find over the last few days. But let me know if you want to see more like this. We could dig even deeper into this situation and find some more clips. But again, these are just showing you the kind of bizarre, sordid stuff that was going on behind the scenes. Like, what are you doing? What is this? Like, they've redacted the blow-up doll by the looks of it, right? Signed the doll. They're signing it. This is like some birthday celebration, I guess. It's like a birthday thing. They're redacting people signing things. It's a little bit weird. Now, this is interesting because perhaps in one of the most barefaced exhibitions of the fact that Epstein probably knew that he was cooked, like a few other people, he seemed to have a pretty strong interest in ongoing trials of other predators. So there was actually a clip of him, basically, he'd made a little clip about the Bill Cosby retrial going forward. Judge rejects motions to dismiss. Okay. And is that, it says trusted doctor, fallen prosecutor in a case that went untried. So it looks like he's kind of keeping tabs on the other creeps that are getting held to justice. And there was another legal issue of the same sort that he would also circle in a newspaper and make a clip of that eventually made its way into the file dump. So in this one, this is about, this says resignation at Harvard over abuse claims. So this is basically another, newspaper clipping about somebody from Harvard University, that essentially had to resign over abuse claims. He's tapping in. I mean, it's interesting because it sounded like Epstein started his career in education. He had abuse claims. He nearly was held to justice, obviously checked out beforehand. And thank God he's burning now. Even worse than he was burning when he was on Earth. But at the same time, Okay, it just goes to show he was keeping tabs on other people that were going down. He knew he was going down. He knew he was going out like these guys. He was keeping track of Bill Cosby's case because he knew he was going to go out like Cosby, like Weinstein, like all these guys. And he would have been there with them if he didn't end up in. So the final thing I'll show you, perhaps is the most disturbing and concerning, is just a few short clips that do appear to feature very young women and girls. Now, these are heavily redacted. You're not going to see anything. But what you are going to see is the context of what was going on behind closed doors at the various Epstein estates. And it is going to be extremely, extremely creepy. And again, this is just another window into what was really going on behind these doors, all right? These are the little scenarios. You're not seeing much, but we just see, you know, he's got women. He's taking pictures and videos of them, perhaps against their will. Perhaps they don't know, you know, perhaps they don't really know what they're getting into. But these are the scenarios and scenes that are going on behind closed. Thankfully, we can't see anything. So again, this is another one. You can't really see much. Okay, and this one actually isn't redacted, but you hear a bit of a voice at the end that sounds like his. But again, what is the purpose of making videos like this? And you know, that does look like a headboard of a bed. It might be a padded wall. But again, it just really is unsettling the way that these kinds of clips have been preserved. What was the purpose of them? What was the context? Why were these scenarios happening? And it's dark, man.
I'm very
It sounded like he said, I'm right, or I'm right here. But look, okay, these were some of the most chilling and spooky and disturbing clips that I've found in the files so far. There is countless amounts of files and clips, and I'll be honest with you, we're seeing more every day. There's millions of files. You know, I think the DOJ is saying now that all the files have been released. People realize that if you change the letters PDF, ironically, to MP4 at the end of some of these files, it would actually surface more video clips that weren't even supposed to be out. They're saying video clips are coming out, and then the state are going, oh, shit, take that down, and they're already on Reddit. It's too late. It's too late. It's crazy. So let me know what you thought of this. If you think these videos were as unsettling as I did, let me know down below. If you want me to dig even deeper into this side of things, I will. If you don't, let me know what else you want to hear. I've got 3 more Epstein topics that I've looked into currently, but I'll keep an eye on what you guys are saying and dig even deeper into some other areas if that's what you want me to do. But thank you so much for watching and supporting. I'm going to keep this going. I'm going to get some really interesting topics for you guys going forward. So stay tuned. And if something else major happens in the news space, I will keep you guys updated. And for anyone that follows me closely, I thought David was going to get arrested Valentine's Day. Didn't end up happening, all right? Throw my hands up. Didn't end up happening. But I will keep you posted. I do think an arrest is coming in that case very soon, and I think it will be very interesting. So there'll be more than Epstein content, but for now, I know this is what you want to hear, and until something else big happens, I think going forward, I'm just going to be following the biggest stories and giving you the best research on those stories, and thank you so much for choosing me as your trusted news source. I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'm out of here, gang.